I once heard about a speaker who, in his presentation, he held up a $20 bill. And he held up the $20 bill and he asked the audience, he said, who wants this $20 bill? So he holds up the $20 bill and immediately everybody's hand goes up. And then he takes the $20 bill and he starts to crumple it up and he took the $20, he threw it on the floor, he stepped on it, he picked it back up. And he says, who wants this $20 bill? Still, every hand went up. Then he passed the dollar bill around, he threw it on the ground again, he stepped on it, he crushed it, and then he asked another time, he said, who wants his $20 bill? And again, immediately, every single hand went up. And the lesson from that story is that no matter what has happened to you, no matter how many times you felt like you've been passed around or how many times you felt like life has hit you or you've been stepped on, you've been crushed, you still have value. And just because you've been crushed, just because something has happened to you, it actually does not mean that you have lost your value. It doesn't mean that you're not good enough. It doesn't mean that you have no worth. It doesn't mean that you have no value. And maybe you feel like, hey, because of some of the things that have happened to you in your past, that you are not good enough. Maybe you feel like because of some of the things that have happened to you in the past that you're not worth it. Maybe you feel like you don't deserve love. Maybe you feel like you don't deserve happiness. Maybe you feel like you don't deserve a future. But let me tell you, you do. And let me tell you that, hey, no matter what has happened to you, you still have not lost your value. I believe that in you, you have unlimited potential. I believe that in you, you have the power and you have the ability to do things that your mind can't even fathom. I believe that in you, you have the power to change your situation. I believe that you have the power to step outside of yourself for a second and not just focus on the things that are happening around you, but focus on the things that are happening inside of you. And I love how scripture tells us, and it says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So what are you thinking about yourself? What are you believing about yourself? And maybe someone has told you at some point that you don't have value or you don't have worth. Hey, let me tell you, friend, those are all lies. No matter what has happened to you, no matter how many times you've been crushed, no matter how many times you have been stepped on, you have not lost your value. And let me tell you, I believe that God, the creator of the universe, that he's actually not mad at you, but he is actually madly in love with you. You still have value.